pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon and welcome to the regular meeting of the Bryan Board of Public Affairs for August 20th, 2019. First on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the August 6th, 2019 regular meeting. Board, you've been presented with a copy of the minutes. Are there any changes or corrections?
None that I saw. I'd like to make a motion we approve the minutes.
Second.
Karen?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Derek?
Yes.
Next is a hearing of public concerns. Seeing none. Clerk-Treasurer's report.
The board's been presented with the Clerk-Treasurer's report for the month ending July 31st, 2019.
Make a motion to approve the treasury report.
Second.
Derek?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Next is a resolution. Lori, would you number and read, please?
Resolution number 33, 2019, recognizing and commending the efforts of Bryan Power Plant and maintenance team members for emergency response and aid following an accident on August 9th, 2019.
As the board is aware, on August the 9th, the driver had a medical issue while traveling south on South Emmett Street, drove through the power plant fence and ultimately went through the maintenance building wall down there before getting stopped by that. Our staff were on scene and of course, as they typically do, coolly and calmly assisted with rescue efforts there and making sure everybody was okay. And so, we wanted to give our thanks or express our gratitude for the work that was done there. We have not received an update on the driver since that accident occurred, but the passenger in the vehicle was not able to exit without mechanical assistance there. So, but they stayed with her until emergency responders got there.
That must have been quite an experience for Kevin.
Yeah.
Well,
He told me he heard him
went
come
down
through the
to look
fence and
at
saw
it.
him coming.
My God, thank God nobody
Yeah.
got hurt. Nobody, was in harm's way, got run over or,
We said he was moving propane tanks.
oh, those acetylene tanks.
Yeah, acetylene
and stuff.
tank.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
correct. That's correct. They were restrained there, but they ran into him
Yeah.
with the vehicle, and at that point, it didn't appear that the driver was in control. So
Right.
it was great for Kevin that he heard the initial impact out there hitting the parked car and going through the fence. It allowed him to take a look and see that that car
See the
was
car was
heading
coming.
right toward him, and to get out
He
of
had
harm's
himself.
way there. So,
A good move. Well, I appreciate, what the guys did, the quick response to the power plant guys. My hat's off to all of them, Kevin too. So I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 33.
I'll second.
Dick?
Yes.
Derek?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Next is another resolution. Read the number, please.
Resolution number 34, 2019, adopting and implementing a uniform policy for projects funded in whole or in part by federal funding and declaring an emergency.
I've been asked to address this. A few of you were at the council meeting last night. This is the same policy that we addressed with council. How this came about was that the auditors were in and indicated that we were to have prepared a policy to handle cash management of federally funded projects, whether they are funded in whole or part by federal funds. We currently have one in process and we'll probably be looking at others. And so we were required by the auditors to implement this policy. The policy is pretty much blanket language provided by the federal government, standard language, so we have not tweaked it too much other than to include what we need for the city of Bryan, but it's largely in part things that we already follow, and we even have some, in some cases, a more strict policy. So I don't see any concerns with it. It has been passed out to all department heads to make sure that we are in compliance with everything that they do in their individual departments. I've had no issues from any of them, so I think it's ready for passage.
Is this something new, Rhonda, or has there always been something there?
From what I can glean, it looks like maybe in 2017, the policy was requested, but we never saw an auditor's bulletin or anything from the OML that was requiring us to pass it, but the auditors have encouraged us to do so if we were going to receive federal funding.
It's a good idea, keeping the policy in place.
It read a lot like general conditions of a bid packet and the ORC.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not very interesting reading. I read through it too, just to make sure, and I concur, I didn't see anything in there that seemed like something that we weren't already doing.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt and implement the policy for federal funding.
I'll second.
Karen?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Darren?
Yes.
Okay, next is another resolution. Would you number read, please, Laura?
Resolution number 35, 2019, to set the employee annual premium rate for health insurance for the period September 1st, 2019 through August 31st, 2020, and declaring an emergency.
Yes, Mayor Schlade was unable to attend this evening, but she asked me to share with you that the annual premium is not going to change this year. You may recall last year there was a 2% decrease in that premium, which the board had to pass on to the staff. This year it's holding steady again, and so we'll certainly appreciate the efforts of Lori and others involved in that and keeping those costs down. Benefit costs, of course, are a big cost to every organization, and so whatever we can do there helps save money for all of the citizens.
I don't believe we've ever negotiated at zero, have we?
We have actually. In the
Oh, have
last
you?
5 years, we've had 2 zeros, 1 -2, and then 2 rate increases. But over the last 5 years, our health insurance has only increased by 1.69% year over year, which is way below the national average.
Yeah.
So we were excited to get it. When we negotiated early, luckily Mike Curval, who we use as our third party to obtain through our insurance, he worked with us. We went back to Med-Mutual, renegotiated, and we were able to get it to 0. So we were glad to be able to get that for all employees.
Have you noticed claims down a little bit? I mean, because of the clinic?
It goes in cycles. I would tell you that the claims are down for, like, I'm going to call it day-to-day things, including prescription drug, because they do have a formulary there. But like for the number of hospitalized cases that are, of course, beyond what Activate can do, those claims continue to, we see a little bit of a roller coaster with them, and you're just hoping
Just
you don't get
depends.
big
Yeah.
ones during the claimant review period.
Oh, okay. I just wondered if that, we're getting more and more folks utilizing the clinic, and
We have requested a list of employees to just see who's utilizing the clinic so that we can maybe do some more informational to the departments that may or may not be taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
It seems like once people hear the good news about it, then they kind of spread it on and more people
Yeah.
take advantage of it. But if you have, if you might be able to take a look at it and say, this department, maybe they weren't as informed on it as some of the others. We'd like to have a chance to tell them what the benefits could be and how it can benefit all of us.
because we knew it'd be a little slow getting going till,
Yes.
word of mouth is worth a million.
Yes, we have heard very few complaints about the clinic altogether, and they have increased their staff accordingly when they've added on new entities to it. I think it's a really good feature that we have, and I think employees are taking advantage of it, especially for maintenancing type things that could involve becoming a large claim.
Right.
They might be able to head it off earlier, so
Good.
that's to everyone's advantage.
Good.
Any more questions? I'll entertain a motion to
So
approve.
moved.
Second.
Dick?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Derek?
Yes.
This is a resolution, okay. Next is another resolution. Would you number and read, please?
Resolution number 36, 2019, adopting standards for installation and parallel operation of customer-owned renewable electric generation facilities, 25 kWAC or less.
Yes, this is relating to the presentation and discussion at the last board meeting. The board asked us to advance a resolution for your consideration, so this is exactly what you saw at the last board meeting.
At the last board meeting, I asked about wind turbines and height restrictions and so forth. And because I did ask city engineer Bryan Whelan, and the zoning code says accessory structures are limited to 18 feet in height. So that effectively probably eliminate any wind generator that would be feasible to put up. So.
Well, the thing that I thought about later, I remember your question, is that we do have service territory outside of the city limits as well. So in those cases, you know, it may not be an issue in zoning. They'd have to check, you know, with their township zoning in that case, I suppose, to find out. But there could be cases where it would still be applicable outside of the city limits.
Any more questions?
I think it's a good policy to have in place.
Sure. If and when.
Forward.
Yeah. I said we've had some requests.
We get inquiries on it a couple a year probably, and I've had two this year already about it.
I'm feeling it's coming.
So the next step then would be to establish some kind of rate structure.
That's correct. That's correct. And we're working through an update on the electric cost of service and rate study right now. We hope to be fairly complete with that by the end of this month or beginning of next month, so I don't think it's too far into the future. And then we will just bring that rider with the rates for your consideration at the same time.
Can I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve resolution 36.
Second.
Derek?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Next is a resolution. Would you number and read, please, Larry?
Resolution number 37, 2019, authorizing the Director of Utilities to purchase a Versalift BST 6600 bucket truck for the electric department.
I don't know if you want to share any information, or do you want to just see if the board has questions?
Yeah. Budgeted this truck 8 replacement this year. Adam and the crew, you know, they've had a number of different demos in and different style of trucks, and the guys, you know, especially JJ and Witt that's on truck 8 has, you know, seen all the versatility of the different styles and the reach capacity, you know, the side reach, the height and everything, and how the truck performs. And they came up with this articulating boom truck style with was a 63-foot reach? 66-foot reach height, so it allows them to have the versatility of working transmission size poles, which are normal 55 foot buckets have a little problem reaching. So this truck will reach a little taller pole than what we normally do. Plus, it's a single axle truck, as our normal, everyday line trucks bucket trucks that the guys use, so. It's not a tandem axle or anything like that, it's under the 19,000 GVWs that the state has for, to go to a double axle truck, so.
What's the lift capacity on the Jeep?
What is it, 15, or it's 1,000 pounds at all?
We're paying the $2,000 capacity,
Okay.
or 2,000 pound, not $2,000.
Is that in any position?
That's pretty much anywhere. You can get, 1,000 pound in optimum position, but, we need to go
I know how that is.
from the bumper to the top. So
Yeah.
with that 2,000 pound capacity, our normal transformers lift are anywhere from 400 to 900 pounds. So it's like we need to have that extra capacity. And that truck has it. It's,
I was gonna say, that should lift about anything you guys lift.
yeah, it's an elbow, and then it's got a telescopic on the end. It goes about 10 feet. So it's the same stature as our 55 footers with the 10 foot squirt on the upper boom.
Is the overall height of it the same as it looks like it's a lower?
It's like 12, 12.8, 12.10. I think our other trucks are on 12.6, so not a lot taller.
That's why I'll be honest, I was a little surprised to see that you went with this style of truck after what we've had all the years.
Yeah, we used it on D. We replaced 6, 7 poles down from Curtin Sub. We used the truck. Actually had a 70 footer. We used it there, and then we did some work on 12 with it. So they had 3 weeks worth of work on it. And it was pretty nice because it gets you right up even with the 3-phase, and then you can squirt through it. So it seemed pretty versatile. And then
it would be.
also it has the heights to reach our transmission, the 80, 85 foot poles. So with us maintaining 35 miles of transmission, it really comes into play for us.
That's why I brought him.
And I'm assuming the build time on that's probably 9-10 months out.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Maybe we're gonna catch them when some people, contracts are coming off, but
Yeah.
we'd have brought it a little earlier, but it just kind of got hammered out of the STS site about a month ago, so we were ready to go with it now.
And I see they give you a pretty fair price for both those, the older ones.
Yeah, that's quite a bit more than what we received in the package.
What year was truck 8? I know 3 was like an 05 or something, wasn't it?
The chassis is an 8, but the aero device is a 7, 2007.
So 8's a newer truck than 3 was?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I guess I had that, okay.
So back in November, it was authorized to purchase a truck to replace number 3.
Right.
So now you're just trading in 3 and 8.
Yep.
We will when we receive this
Right.
new truck.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, we still have to maintain 8 until we take purchase of that truck.
Which is
Keep it
coming
in-
pretty quick, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, our truck 3 delivery should be within a month to 6 weeks. So that new truck should be here.
We've purchased for utility truck equipment before and have had pleasant experiences with them, and they've been with the state Jordan purchasing program for many
Bill Sesser.
years.
Yeah, Bill Sesser, if you remember him, he's been with them for a long time, and he's really helped us out, get through this.
Our truck 3 that we purchased is a Versalift, the same. So the one we're trading in, so it's the same. We've had it for 14, 15 years, been a good truck. And they kind of, what do I say, they're the first ones that make this type of boom. So I assume that some of these other vendors may try to jump on board with making the next size bigger. So,
It's a nice looking truck,
yeah.
very good body style.
Well, they're not inexpensive, and when you get them,
Yeah.
you keep them for a long time. So I think it's great that they've had the opportunity to use demonstration models and try it out and make sure that it's what we want, because if you got something that you didn't want, you're gonna have it for a long time and have to work around those things. So these guys have done their homework on it, and getting it through the state purchasing program, of course, makes it a lot easier as well.
One thing I asked him before the meeting was, does this thing come with air conditioning?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's been times we purchased vehicles that did not have it.
I would imagine nowadays you'd about have to delete it if you didn't want it.
Yeah,
Pretty much
pay to
standard
delete it, they
Yeah.
said.
But I do remember the days when they wouldn't buy a truck that had air conditioning. And they wouldn't buy a diesel.
Right.
Any more questions?
What's the depreciation on this, Laura? Is it 5 years still, or is it?
It'll go
extended
over,
longer?
it should go over 10 years.
That reminds me, are we kind of getting out of the 10-year rotation deal, or have we just,
No, this would be 10 years.
it would be 10 years for both of them?
You remember the old real truck,
Mhm.
sitting over here,
Yeah,
old
yeah.
truck 8 was an 88.
That's
We had-
right, that's
we had
right.
Like a 98 truck, and then this one, 2008, so it's been a 10-year replacement.
I'll make a
Treasurer.
motion we approve.
I'll second.
Jim? Dick?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Garrett?
Yes.
Next is a request to hire a temporary part-time labor for the communications department.
Yes, Jackie was unable to attend tonight. It's her birthday, so I certainly wish her a happy birthday. I'm not going to say what milestone it is, but it's a milestone for her.
But you are going to sing for her?
So you have in your packet a request to hire Brandon Fisher as a temporary part-time laborer. He will not be adding to the budget again. It's just another one to be able to pull from a pool of availables to handle things. And he's got some experience as a sports commentator. We lost the gentleman that has been doing our high school football games, and so they expect that Brandon will be taking that place.
She was recommended by Eric, so I'll make a motion that we hire Brandon.
I'll second.
Dick?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Garrett?
Yes.
Next is a motion to effect semi-monthly disbursements. Can I have a motion to pay the bills, please?
Make a motion.
Second.
Garrett?
Yep.
Dick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Next, comments from BPA and staff. Jerry?
I'd just like to thank everybody at the power plant that did their job on that accident. You know, that really helps first responders out when there's already people helping out, so thank you for that. And thanks for the electric crew Sunday night, you know, getting everybody back up with those storms. And I'm sure it was a not fun time working out in the rain, so I know we were there with a fire truck providing, you know, blocking some roads off, so I'm sure that makes your job a little safer, so that helped a lot. That is all I have.
Is he repeat shave today?
Very
That seems
good.
to be going well.
Well, today actually yesterday, we had an issue with combustion turbine number 2. We couldn't get it to start, the Westinghouse. And we still couldn't get it to run today. So we were able to reduce the load to about 14 megawatts yesterday was all. So we're going to bring in some outside help tomorrow, see if we can get things figured out. But today ended up, some storms moved into the PJM area and cooled things down, so we didn't set another peak today in PJM. But as of yesterday, yeah, we'll have something on the books there as far as additional costs, unless there are, 3 days that are hotter than were yesterday across the PJM area before the end of the peaking season. which usually ends about the middle of September. So we've got a few weeks left here to try to get it off of the books. It's not as bad as the one July 16th where we had no generation running when it occurred, but this certainly doesn't help things.
So Old Faithful wouldn't start.
Yeah.
Wow, that's unusual.
And, yeah, it is, but, you know, this is exactly why we were looking at replacing the control
controls.
system,
Yeah.
you know. And Jim Caruso, the power production superintendent, was apologizing to me. I said, look, you're working with stuff that's, you know, 45 years old or something here, and what the miracle is that you're able to keep it running as reliably as you do, you know, despite that. So, you know, we're planning for this upgrade. We'll see what we can do to try to get it up and running again as quickly as possible, and hopefully we have 2 or 3 more really hot days before the end of the summer and get this one off of the books.
Yeah.
So with the PJM 5 capacity peaks, they average those. So if we, let's say, had 10 or 15, but we zeroed out all the other days, then they'll add them all together, divide by 5, and that's what we'll get charged for capacity. So it's not as bad as the one CP, one coincident peak on AEP, where your top hour out of the whole year,
Right.
you pay for the next year on that. And that occurred back in January, and we had all the generation running at that point, except for the solar, because it happened between 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning, and the sun was up yet, so it didn't help us that day.
Hopefully you get it snuffed and serious, get it.
Yeah, I suspect, and they do, that it's a relay or pressure switch there somewhere that's causing the problem. But Hamilton, Ohio has a Westinghouse 191 like that. I called down there. They talked to Jim and the staff and tried to troubleshoot over the phone, even things that they thought it might be. And we tried all of those things. We couldn't get it working. So a gentleman from Mesa Engineering, Clint Sexton, he used to be the controls guy at AMP's Fremont Energy Center,
Yeah.
and worked for Toledo Edison in the controls areas for years. And he was working down at Hamilton's Meldal hydro plant, so I made a second call to Hamilton and said, look, I don't know what he's doing down there, but if it's non-critical, would you mind releasing him to let him come up here tomorrow and help us out? And then we'll send him back down when he's done, and they said, sure.
Good.
So he's driving up here tonight. and he'll
Does
be-
Hamilton's 191 still have the pneumatics?
No, it's been upgraded.
It's been
The control
upgraded.
system there has
Okay.
been upgraded, yeah. So,
And that's all I have.
Okay.
Yes, thanks to the crew for keeping us in power through all the storms again, and keeping up the solar and Oglaze. They are really helping us out. According to the numbers and the reports we get, Oglaze, best year
yeah,
ever.
we will likely set a record this year. I think.
So, yeah, good job to everybody.
Well, I was going to mention Oglaze also.
You can.
But we're already, through this year, we're already like better than 2 of the years in the last 6, and we've got 5 months to go.
Last year was our second highest year, and we're only $1 million short of that
Right.
roughly, right?
Right.
Yeah, and that was just through the end of July.
So 5 more months. Keep the water coming.
Yeah.
Kevin?
Just a couple of things, an update on Town Line Road, the water main replacement, all of the infrastructure installation is complete. Gherkin Paving was out there this afternoon, beginning repaving the trench out there. They are also abandoning some of the fire hydrants from the old line, but everybody's been switched over to that, and that project's been complete. I think despite how busy that roadway is, we had very few issues. So I think our staff and the contractor did a great job of trying to keep everybody informed and keep access available to the residents that live along that section. Just as an update on the Bard Centennial Fountain, The timer has been replaced on that. Remember, that was part of the issue, is that the timer went out, and so it was running 24 hours a day instead of 18. They ended up, after replacing the timer, finding a contactor and a relay that also needed to be replaced, but those have been replaced, and so we'll see tonight whether it turns off both the fountains and the pumps and the lights.
And the filter issue was taken care of?
That was taken care of too, yep. All of that was handled, all of the repair work that needed to be done, so should be running good now for a while. I also wanted to mention, because they're just completing these parking lot renovations down there at the northwest corner of Walnut and Maple between the Eagles and Four Seasons Restaurant. Brian Wheeland and Andy Waterston kind of redesigned and renovated that parking lot. And at the same time, then we went in and put in new lighting down there, put it underground. And I think it looks really great. The guys did a great job with it, and really with the work that Dr. Peters has done there, you know, you've got a pretty broad area of some improvements. And Al, I don't know if you want to mention the lighting improvements that you've got coming up there on South Main and North Lynn.
Yeah, South Main Street, 14 lights. We're supposed to take delivery on Friday of those lights. They were delivered probably a couple months ago, but the bases were wrong, the drill pattern. So we sent them back, and they did them how we approved them, how they needed to be to retrofit onto our existing piers. So we're supposed to take delivery of them on Friday, and then we'll schedule to have them replaced. Probably within a month or so, I guess.
We're going to reutilize existing duct there, right?
Yes, everything will be used. It'll just pretty much be, plug and play. Pick the old one off, put the new one on, connect the wires. That's what we're going to be doing with that project. Also, we're working in the 100 block of North Lynn Street. New lighting project there. We're doing some directional boring in that area. Crews have completed, I guess, probably 40% of that boring. And they had to leave for a couple of weeks, and then we'll come back and finish it. And then we'll have our work to do with drilling holes and installing the piers and kind of running the wire and installing the lights and everything, the poles. So I would guess that would be another month or two out before we see that project completed. But we have that going on also.
And that'll convert overhead service there to underground as well.
Yeah, that'll be underground. Yep, the underground service.
That's all I have, unless you have questions for me.
Sorry.
No, sir.
Department head, any more you'd like to add?
Just crews been working out in Fairview Drive, our capital improvement project. Started back out there pulling cable today, actually. With the rain and stuff, kind of held us off a little bit. But we're back out there. All the boring's done, so we're setting transformers and pedestals, and we'll be doing service switchovers and stuff in that area of town. So let everybody be aware of that. That project we'd like to get completed, and then we'll get out on our 69 line that we have to build to the new substations where our plans are. So that's kind of our progression there. Throwing in a couple lighting projects also with that.
I forgot to mention, we're doing the bid opening for the construction piece of that Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah.
This week. So we hope maybe by the next board meeting, we'll be coming to you with a recommendation on that.
Judy? Nothing. Max?
Thanks.
The other thing I'd like to say is thank the crews for the work they did under the adverse conditions. And I might add, we're talking about Town Line Road. I experienced our tree trimmers working down through there, and they seemed, I know nobody likes to have their trees trimmed, but they seem to be doing a good job.
They do an excellent job.
Yeah, they do. I was impressed with what I saw anyway. That's all I have. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Dick?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.